Everyone. How's everybody doing today? I hope everyone had a great weekend, a great Halloween. My name is Melissa, and I'm here to guide you through a 45-minute all-level yoga practice. So as we come into our time together today, just a reminder to listen to your body. So if any of the stretches aren't working for you, please skip them, come on out and modify them. So I was thinking today would be great to start in child's pose so we could get a really nice stretch for our backs. And as you come into child's pose, feel free to grab a blanket if you'd like. That can help to just add a little bit of support for your knees. You could also grab a pillow off of your couch. And a couple of options. So knees together, folding down. That's going to give you a great opening for your back. And if you would like, you could take big toes to touch and then knees away from one another, and then let yourself sink down as well. And then that's going to be a great leg stretch and a great hip stretch. And we'll be here for a moment. So let's just try to relax into this one. You may want to add a little bit of a gentle shifting of the weight side to side, just letting yourself sink down, get grounded, aligned. Feel the lower leg sinking down into the mat. Feel the lower arm sinking down and grounding into the mat. And then breathing here. Let's breathe deeply. So feel the stomach expanding, feel the ribs expanding, feel the chest rising and falling with the breath. And then if you would like, you can set an intention for your time on the mat today. And then intention can be anything that you'd like it to be, maybe to honor your body through the practice, maybe to be present in the moment. Intentions are a nice way to connect us to our practice and to help make the practice our own. Coming up, let's find our way into table. And as we come into table, we'll work a little bit with earth salutation. So this is a really nice grounding salutation. And we'll work with different back bends and different stretches, which will be a really nice heart opening practice as well. We'll just move the spine in different ways. So let's come on to our knees. Hands will reach and stretch up to the sky. And then release yourself down. We'll come into child's pose. We're just going to sink our hips to our heels, let the heart soften down. Come on forward to a knee down plank pose. And then moving into Sphinx from here. So we're just going to lower all the way down to the mat. So as you come into Sphinx, let's let those hands glide out in front. So we're just going to take our hands right out in front, elbows in line with your shoulders. Maybe reach for opposite arms here. And we'll breathe. So this is going to be a great low back opener. And option 2, stay here. If you'd like to lift, you can. Hands will press down, elbows lift up, elbows gently wrap in towards one another, coming into low cobra pose, Bhujangasana. And arms can straighten. Feel yourself reaching through the crown of the head, breathing in, breathing out. Let's take it down to the mat. We'll take a full breath in here and press yourself into a down dog as you exhale. So toes curl under, sitting bones to the sky, and then creating some movement here. Maybe bending one knee, bending the other knee. Head relaxes, yes, and head relaxes, no. Let's come to stillness here. Knees will lower down to the mat. Coming back into child's pose, hips to heels, heart lowers down. And then rising up, take a full breath in here. Hands reach, stretch the sky into prayer, and then hands to heart, breathe out. So that was one earth salutation. Hands sweep up, breathe here. Releasing down, let's float it into child's pose. Come on forward, take that knee down plank position. And working with a variation of low cobra, lower all the way down to the mat. Let's take our hands right underneath our shoulders. So we'll take tips of fingers in line with tops of shoulders, pinkies in line with the deltoids. Glue the tops of your feet down onto the mat. And then lifting up to your navel. So you don't have to lift really high in this one. It's not necessarily higher is better. But we're going to try to hug those arms into the sides of your body, elbows run straight back, and almost create a sensation that your hands could lift from the mat. So we're just really channeling and using that back strength. Let's take it down to the mat. We'll press ourselves back to downward facing dog. Again, pedaling it out, shaking out the legs, relaxing your head yes and no, just finding that nice, flowy, organic movement. Let's soften those knees down. Child's pose as you breathe out. And then coming on up, take a full breath in here. Hands to heart as you exhale. Hands reach up. Let's take that nice full breath here. Releasing down, we'll float ourselves back to child's pose. Come on forward, take your knee down plank. And then working with the variation of boat pose from here. Let's lower all the way down to the mat. Hands will move behind your body, fingers will interlock, palms will touch, and then lifting up. So we're gonna lift our legs, lift the torso, try to open the chest and the heart. Breathe here. So we're gonna breathe into our low back, mid back, and upper back. Gently relax yourself down. Take a breath here, downward facing dog. Shaking it out again, bending the knees, relaxing head yes, relax your head no. Knees will begin to lower. We'll find our way back into child's pose. And then rising up. Full breath in, hands reach, stretch up. And then hands at heart, breathe out. Hands extending up, full breath. And release. Let's take it down, child's pose. Take it forward, knee down plank. And working with a variation of cobra, let's lower all the way down to the mat. For this variation of cobra, have your hands right underneath your shoulders and then walk your hands off to the sides of your yoga mat. So maybe a half a foot, maybe a foot off to the sides. Glue the tops of your feet down onto the mat and then lifting yourself up as high as you'd like. So in this one, just try to have your elbows pointing right up to the sky. You could try to straighten your arms if that feels comfortable for your back. We just don't want to be pushing it too much on this one. So we'll just take that nice deep full in breath, nice deep full out breath. Lower down to the mat. Take a full breath here and downward facing dog. Let's shake that one out again, bending the knees, head relaxes yes and no. Knees begin to lower, back to our child's pose, and then rising up, hands reach, stretch to the sky into prayer, hands to your heart as you breathe out. Let's work with dolphin plank. So we're gonna come into plank on the forearms. You can come down onto your elbows, reach for opposite arms, hands come out in front, fingers interlock, palms touch. And then let's walk those toes back. Toes will curl under and trying to just not have those hips too high in this one. So if you need to modify, draw your knees down onto the mat. Let your tailbone tuck. Feel your navel move back and up to the spine slightly. Try to create that long line that flows through your body from your heels to the crown of the head. Neutral gaze down to the ground, back of the neck lengthens, reaching through the crown of the head. And then feeling that really strong connection of the forearms into the earth, lifting from the shoulders, finding length and space. Let's walk our toes to our face. We're going to take that to dolphin. Try to create an upside down V shape with your body. Backs of legs lengthen, sitting bones to sky. Spine lengthens, back of head, neck relaxes and releases. Right leg reaches, stretches up. We'll come to a three-legged dog. Come back, reset. Left foot floats up and reset. Let's begin to soften the knees down. Rising up, we'll work with a nice opener for the feet. So we're going to come into toe stand. Toes will curl under. Sit back onto your heels. Hands will reach up. Take a full breath here. Fingers will interlock, palms reach and stretch up. And let's shift to the right. And then let's shift off to the left. Coming into this nice little organic flowing movement here. Nice opener for the side bodies. Come back to neutral. Float it forward into table. Tap the tops of your feet out on the mat. Let's warm up our core a little bit. So we are going to come back onto our knees. Glue the tops of your feet right down onto the mat. And then gently support your low back. And as you support the low back here, tuck your tailbone. So feel your navel move back and up to the spine slightly. And then try to create this line that flows from your knees all the way to the crown of the head. We're not going to create a back bend. We're just going to try to move our body in one straight line. So as that core is engaged, let's take ourselves back a little bit. Shoulders floating back. Breathe here. So you might feel that those quads are working a little bit more. You might feel those glutes are activating. Let's take it back a little bit more. Float yourself back. You can tuck your chin. You could also relax your head back, whichever feels comfy. And then let's take that back a little more. You can even take your hands out in front if you want. They call this one sleepwalker arms. Make sure that you're breathing. We don't want to hold the breath here. Let's take that full in breath, full out breath. Come on forward, take it to table, press back to down dog. Toes to the hands. Walk your feet forward, land in your folds. And shake it out a little bit here. Maybe bend your knees, relax your head yes, and relax your head no. Hands can move off to the right. So we'll come to a gentle side stretch and try to feel grounded evenly through both of your feet. So inside and outside of each foot. Come back to center, realign, hands to the left. Realign, back to center, back into fold. Let's take a half lift here. Find a flat back, lift and lengthen your spine, fold forward, and then rise on up. We'll come to mountain as you breathe in. Hands on heart as you breathe out. Right foot lifts up for tree. We'll come into Vrikshasana. So for tree, you can just take your right foot and then bring that anywhere on the inside of the legs. You can have it a little bit lower, a little bit higher, but we just don't want to place that foot right onto the knee joint. So below the knee or above the knee is fine. Find that one spot to focus on. Find that one spot to focus your concentration and to focus your awareness. Let's take this into warrior three from here. We're going to float that right leg back. And then as you align here, feel really grounded through all the parts of your left foot. Ground through the inside, through the outside. And then notice your body's natural tendency. If you tend to roll in, maybe tend to roll out. Coming into a crescent warrior from here. Right heel is lifted. And feel that that right leg is super active. Press firmly through the heel, back of the knee, leg is active, leg is energized. Springing off that right foot, let's kick that right leg right out in front. So the hands are gonna reach and stretch to the sky. And then we're just gonna give that leg a little kick right out in front. Let's pulse a little here. We're gonna lower the heel, lift it up, lower, lift. And then doing that, let's take that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take it back, warrior one when you're ready. As you align here in warrior one, have a deep bend in your left knee. Right heel is grounded and planted down. Press firmly into the outer edge of your right foot. Breathe into your calf stretch. Breathe into the hamstring stretch. Hands behind your body. Let's take it to our yoga mudra. Fingers interlock, palms touch. Imagine squeezing a pencil between the shoulder blades. Fold forward, breathe out. Try to relax the fronts of the shoulders. And just noticing if that helps you move a little bit deeper into the shoulder stretch. Come back on up. Float yourself into warrior one. Hands to the earth, runner's lunge. Left hand lifts, runner's twist. And then as you take your twist with each in-breath, feel your spine lengthen. On the out-breath, let your twist deepen. Let's take it to runner's lunge. Transition to plank. Right hand lifts for side plank. We'll come into Vashisthasana. So as you align here in side plank, you can always modify. So your bottom arm comes down for a little less. Top leg lifts for a little bit more. And you can always have your bottom leg down for a little kickstand as well. Let's take it into plank. Lower down, chaturanga. We'll come to an up dog here. Use your breath. Try to open the chest and open up the heart. Down dog, breathe out. Float yourself forward, toes to the hands. Let's take our half lift. Fold and rise for mountain. And hands at heart as you breathe out. Left foot begins to lift and we'll come into tree. We'll come back to that nice balance pose. Maybe imagine that you could draw roots from your foot right down to the ground. So just imagine there's these tree roots rooting you down, creating that strength, that stability in the posture, feeling that groundedness in the posture. Let's take ourselves back, find warrior three. Roll your left hip down. Try to feel that the low back is even and feel that the hips are even. Float it into crescent from here. Let's try to press that heel straight back. So body's natural tendency is to turn that heel into the center of the mat a little bit. So try to press it straight back so that we have our heel and we have our hip in line. Springing off that back foot, let's give a little kick out in front. Breathing here, let's lower it and lift. We'll try that a couple times. And then let's take that down for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Warrior one, swing that foot back. Let's drop in, reconnect with your breath. Feel the breath flowing in and out through your nose. We want to take that nice deep full in breath, deep full out breath. Hands behind your body. We'll come into that nice shoulder opener, great hip stretch, great leg stretch. Fold it forward. Maybe look to the wall that's behind you. Maybe take your gaze to the ceiling, up behind your body. Come back on through. Warrior one. Hands to the earth. Runner's lunge. Left hand or right hand's gonna lift up and we'll take it to runner's twist. And then with your twist, you may want to play with the gaze. You can look down, you could also look up and just see how that changes the stretch for you and your body. Change that neck stretch for you. Let's release it. We're going to float ourselves back to plank. And left hand lifts, find your way into side plank. Feel your body stack and open on this one. Roll the top shoulder back. Roll that top hip back. Bottom shoulder rolls under slightly. And same thing with your hip. Let's float ourselves back. Come into plank. Find your high push-up posture. Chaturanga Dandasana. Up dog. Use the breath here. Breathe into your back bend. Down dog. Breathe out. Working with wild or rock star. So rock star is similar to side plank, but a little different. So for this one, take your right foot underneath your body, kick your right foot to the left side of the room, come onto the outer edge of your right foot, inner edge of your left foot, and then left hand reaches and stretches to the sky. Feel your top hip reach and stretch to the sky. We're gonna breathe in deeply here. Float yourself back, three-legged dog. Come on through and open up into warrior two pose. So as you align in warrior two, let's find that nice comfy gaze off the front fingertips. Feel that your shoulders are right over your hips. We don't want to be leaning forward or back too much. Reverse warrior, front hand floats up and back. Try to keep a deep bend in your front knee. Body's natural tendency is to straighten that front leg a little bit. Come on through. Warrior two. Lateral angle. And then if you would like more of a stretch, maybe lower your hand down to the ground, coming into extended lateral angle. Just try not to collapse here into the bottom shoulder. Try to create a little lifting here and lengthening in that bottom shoulder. And come back on through. Float yourself back into warrior two. Straighten your right leg. Hips will go back. Right hand reaches, stretches forward. Hand comes down and we'll come into triangle. We'll release into Trikonasana for a moment. Imagine if you could see your body here. Try to create triangle shapes. So we create a large triangle through the legs and the earth, through the arms, side body. Float yourself forward. We'll come into balancing half moon pose. Left foot lifts up. Flex your left toes to the left side of the room, helping you to get that nice rotation through the hips. Top hip rolls back, top shoulder rolls back, bottom shoulder under, and same thing through your hips. Working with balancing half moon pose with a bind if you'd like. Left hand for your left foot, and then create a little sensation of kicking the foot into the hand here. So that can help to give a nice back bend through the three parts of the back. Come back on through. We'll float ourselves to warrior two. And as you take warrior two, windmill the hands to the earth. Runner's lunge. Engage your core and come on up for crescent warrior. Working with a twist, but keeping the spine upright. Feel your spine lengthen as you inhale and twist to the right as you exhale. Sometimes we feel those front fingertips pulling us forward. Maybe have that backhand draw you back slightly. Feel free to stay here. Option to work with the reverse variation if you'd like to go there. Front hand reaches up and back. Let's come back on through. Revolved crescent warrior. Release into crescent and release into warrior two. So just kind of do a little unwinding of the pose there. Let's take the hands to the earth. Float it to runner's lunge. Step yourself back into plank. And when you lower, elbows are moving to the back of the room. Let's lower down, chaturanga. Up dog. Down dog. Let's work with that rock star on the other side. So we're going to start with our left leg this time. Take your left leg underneath your body and kick it off to the right. So we'll come to the outer edge of the left foot, inner edge of your right foot. Have your right hand reach and stretching up. And then feel your top hip reaching, stretching up as well. So we want to get this really awesome stretch for the side body. Transition to three-legged dog. Send yourself through and open into warrior two pose. As you align here, let's try to relax the shoulders from the ears. You see if we can create a little bit more space between the ears and the shoulders. And feel the shoulder blades moving down your back. Reverse warrior. Front hand reaches up and back. Keep that nice deep bend in that front knee. Hips kind of float down towards the mat a bit more. Come on through. Let's take it to warrior two. Transition to lateral angle. And then maybe lowering that hand down for extended lateral angle. Trying not to collapse here in the bottom shoulder. Lifting, lengthening a little bit on this one. Back on through. Warrior two, straighten your front leg, hips will go back, hands reach and stretch forward, and hand lowers down, coming into triangle, coming into Trikonasana. Breathing here, let's feel the body stack and open, shoulders in line, wrists in line. Balancing half moon pose, float that foot forward and then lift it up. Gaze down to your left foot. Try to feel that your foot is straight with the edge of the mat. Body's natural tendency is to turn the toes in a little bit, so just try to feel that foot nice and straight. Work with the bind here. Right hand for right foot for sugar cane. Let's gently release that one. Take it back. Find warrior two. And then as you take warrior two, windmill the hands to the earth, float yourself to a runner's lunge, engage your core to come on up for crescent. As you align here, let's relax shoulders from ears, keeping that twist straight. So let's twist off towards the left. We'll take that upright twist. Revolved crescent warrior. Feel your hands reaching and stretching in opposite directions. Staying here, option for reverse variation if you'd like to flow there. Breathe into that nice rib stretch. So we have all these little intercostal muscles between the ribs. Really open them up here. Float yourself up. Reverse crescent or revolve crescent warrior. Then we'll open into crescent and opening into warrior two. Let's come to goddess pose from here. So we'll straighten our legs and first toes will turn in. So we're just going to line up our toes, line up our heels, and feel free to readjust the feet here if that's needed. Toes will turn out, heels will shift in. Take a nice deep bend into your knees and then arms will sweep up for goddess. Let's tuck the tailbone here. So we just don't want to stick our butt out too much on this one. Let's rise up on tippy toes. So heels are lifting up and then heels are lowering. Bend deeper to the knees, sink yourself down. Rise up, release. Flow at your own pace for a moment. Let's release that one. We're going to take this into a wide-legged fold. So maybe hands onto hips. Turn your toes in. We just want toes in line, heels in line. Hinge at the hips and fold down to the mat. Little bit of movement here. Maybe bending your knees. Relax your head, yes. And relax your head, no. Let's walk those hands right out in front, coming into down dog with the legs wide. Send your weight back into your heels. Hands are light, almost a sensation that the hands could lift off of the mat. Hands can walk into your body and then let those hands float right underneath you. And we're gonna let that movement take us into a fold with the legs wide and just let us move a little deeper into that one. Gently release that one. We're going to come back into a runner's lunge. So walk your hands so that your hands frame your front foot. Step yourself back into plank. And holding your up dog. So let's lower down with control, arms along your body, elbows to the back of the room. We'll take our up dog here. Gaze off your right shoulder. So let's breathe into that nice back stretch. Come back to neutral. Look off the left. See how that might change up your back stretch here. Come back to neutral. Down dog. Breathe out. Knees will begin to lower. And then sweep your feet forward. We're going to work with seated. So you can just send those legs right out in front of you. Give your legs a little bit of a shake out. And starting with your left leg, let's take our left leg on top. We'll take our left foot near our right hip. And then try to be on the outer edge of your foot so that the sole of the foot can roll up to the sky. Option to stay right here. If you would like more of a stretch, you could take your right foot near your left hip. And we'll just take a moment here to feel ourselves grounded and aligned evenly. Left hand lowers down, right hand reaches up and over. And then we're just going to do a little pulse here. Float yourself up and release. 3 more times. And coming back on up. Right hand lowers, left hand lifts. Flow on up, breathe. And release. Seeing if each release lets you come a little deeper. So this one is our awesome leg stretch, hip stretch, low back stretch. Also great for the IT band on the left leg. Let's begin to release that one. We're going to float up. We'll take a neutral spine, legs extending out in front, and give your legs a little bit of a shake out. We'll try that one on the other side. We're going to stretch the other hip now. So right leg up and over, and deciding if you want to stay here, maybe deepen this one. And just really important on this one to make sure that your knees aren't hurting at all. So we never want to feel any pulling or stretching or anything like that in the knees. Right hand lowers, left hand lifts. Full breath in, come on up and release. Full breath here and release. Let's take this one at our own pace for a moment. Coming back to neutral, let's lower that left hand down, right hand lifts. We'll do a little cartwheel of the hands. Breathe in and breathe out. Just feel how this movement guides you deeper into that hip opening. Let's come back to neutral. Unwrap your legs and send those legs out in front so you can give them a little bit of a shake out. Let's come into boat. So we'll work our core a little bit here. So for boat, feet are planted, knees are bent, and core is engaged. So spine is straight, and option to stay here. You may want to shift back a little bit if you wanted to invite some challenge. If you would like to invite more challenge, maybe arms are straight, reach out through your fingers, and then maybe a little bit more challenge, straighten your legs and straighten your arms. Let's make sure that we're breathing here. So really easy to hold the breath. I want to take that nice deep full in breath, nice deep full out breath. Feel that the spine is straight. We don't want to be rounding too much here. Spine is straight, heart is open. Breathe in and breathe out. Let's gently lower down. We're going to come onto our backs from here. Hug your knees up into the chest, rock to the right, rock to the left. Let's draw the feet right on the mat. So feet are going to be in line with your hips, knees will be bent, and then gently support the back of your head here. So fingers interlock, little support here. And working with some crunches, we're just going to lift on up and lower and come And move at your own pace here. Try not to crank the head. Offer that gentle support to the back of the head. Keep your breath flowing in and out. And as you breathe, try to breathe in and out through the nose. That helps to keep the mind and the body calm and relaxed. We also want to breathe into the stomach, ribs, and chest. And then releasing from the chest, ribs, and the stomach. Letting go of that one. Hug your knees up into the chest. Rock to the right, rock to the left. Let's take our legs to 90-degree angles. We'll take our knees in line with our hips and heels are in line with your knees. And a little bit of a gentle support to your head once again. And core is engaged on this one. Let's take some bicycle crunches. Twist to the left. So we're going to straighten that right leg, right elbow, taps the left knee, and then realign. Let's twist to the right, realign, flow side to side for a moment. So breathing here. Let's try not to hold the breath. Try to breathe into that twist. So we want to twist through the stomach, ribs, chest, releasing chest, ribs, stomach, and activating the feet. You could point your toes, you could flex your feet, maybe press out through the 2 ball mounts towards the front of the foot, and then spread out through the toes, helping to activate the feet a little bit differently. And gently releasing that. Float yourself back onto the back, knees up and into chest, rock to the right, and then rock to the left. Coming into bridge pose. So for bridge, we're going to take our feet right in line with our hips, knees are bent, and core is engaged. Tuck your tailbone, feel the navel move back and up to the spine slightly, and lift yourself up. And if you would like, you could walk your hands together under your body, fingers interlock, palms will touch. Maybe imagine squeezing a beach ball between the knees. Imagine squeezing a pencil between your shoulder blades. Press really firmly through your feet. So inside and outside of each foot. Maybe lift your toes to really get that strong grounding in your feet. Imagining squeezing that beach ball between the knees. Really activate all of those muscles in your legs. Maybe try to lift yourself up a little bit higher and breathe into that nice back stretch. Breathe into your low back, mid back, and upper back. Try to relax your glutes as best as you can. Gently relax yourself down. Tailbone will tuck. Upper, mid, and low back soften down to the mat. Soles of the feet will touch, knees come away from one another, coming into Supta Baddha Konasana, reclining round angle. And if you'd like, you can draw one hand to heart, one to navel, close the eyes for a moment. If the stretch is feeling too intense, you can always take your feet to the edges of your mat and then let your knees drop in towards one another. And just feeling your body breathing here for a moment. As you inhale, feel your chest rise with the breath and fall with the breath. Feel the navel rise with the breath. Feel the navel fall with your breath. Knowing each time that you breathe, you bring life and oxygen to all of the cells through your body. Let's take those knees up and into the chest and stomach. And take that movement into some circles here. Maybe find large circles, maybe find smaller circles. Whatever feels best through the low back. And then circle in the other direction. So we'll just reverse that movement. And then gently releasing that. And let's come into Shavasana. We'll come into our resting pose of our practice. So if you'd like to make any final stretches or movements, you can do that. And you can also grab any props that would help you feel comfortable. So sometimes laying with your legs relaxed and arms relaxed feels good. If you have any low back pain, sometimes bending the knees and planting your feet can feel really supportive. We'll just take a moment here, closing the eyes. Maybe inviting a gentle tuck to your chin to help lengthen the back of the neck. Maybe a gentle tuck to your tailbone to lengthen your low back. And then just taking a moment here just to feel your body relaxing, releasing. Allowing for your breath to deepen. Maybe wiggle the fingers, wiggle the toes. And transitioning to your side, we'll come into fetal for a moment. Maybe creating a little pillow here to gently support the head. And then feeling your body taking the shape of the posture. Coming up, let's make our way into a comfortable seated position. And as you take your seated pose here, maybe draw your hands into the heart space. We'll bring them into prayer, into Anjali Mudra. Thanking yourself for practicing yoga this evening, for doing something so good for your mind, body, and spirit. The light within me honors the light within you. Namaste. Namaste, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. It's really wonderful to be here with you and practice yoga with you. I will see you on Wednesday. We have a meditation class at 2:30, and I hope you can join us.